Right, well, hello and welcome back to this video from the Veg Grower podcast. Now, you may remember a couple of weeks ago we started an experiment using our new germie seed starter kits. This was a small one. We sowed some spinach. Well, it's been a couple of weeks now, and I thought we'll have a look and just see how they've gone on. And if you look down here, you can see we've got some spinach that has actually germinated. They're definitely still only at the sort of seed leaf stage, but they have germinated. Now, what I've found is that when we lift these up, as you can see, you do have to lift them by their sides, otherwise they fall apart. But the compost in there does seem to be staying in place, which I'm quite impressed with, I've got to say. The only trouble I've also seen, if we turn this upside down, you will see there are roots that have grown through and got quite big. And that was quite rapid, so we do have to now start looking at potting these up into something a bit bigger, which is what we're going to do, while giving us a chance to see how easily these things come apart and stay together. So let's get on with it, shall we? So I'm just going to put this to one side, and I'm going to bring in one of my plug plant trays. These are what I'm using more and more of for seed starting, and I was hoping that we would actually be able to avoid this stage and just go straight into getting these into the garden or into the grounds or something like that, which we could probably do. If I'm honest with you, we could probably get away with it, but I want to see how well we get on without it. So first of all, let's take that first one off. I can see we're going to have to give this a bit of a wash. We've got a bit of green and stuff there, but again, I'm going to bring it back. These little soil pits have stayed together. Now this actual row hasn't germinated very well, so we won't worry too much about that. Actually, that's quite useful. They come apart nicely like that and they stay in place. I think that's very useful anyway. But there we go. We've got one spinach there that has came away from that. It's got quite a long root. So we're just going to pop this into here to grow it on a little bit more. Again, another one of those. I think they can be washed up quite easily and see how we get on. So this is the next one. Again, not as well together as what I would have hoped, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. I'm just using my finger to dip these in because, well, why not? Why not? There we go. Again, that was one of the roots that, as I pulled that away, I'm obviously not pulling too hard, but as I pulled that away, the compost came away because the root, this piece here that you can probably just see, that was sat underneath the germie, the kit itself, so it didn't really do much to hold it in place. But never mind, we'll move on and see what we got. There we go. That's one that has stayed in place. So overall, I will say that these things are doing what they said they would do. They have started our seeds off fairly easily and seem to have done quite well. My concern with these just still remains with the fact that they are quite small, and those roots have rapidly outgrown the size of these particular seed starters. Now they do some other sizes. We've got the medium and large as well, which I think we're going to have to try and see what we can use those for as well. I probably wouldn't do anything that is a large seed in these small ones anyway. I wouldn't do any of our squash plants, say, or any of our beans or anything like that. But any small seeds, any small plants, I think will grow quite well, or start off quite well in these particular pieces of kit. Overall, I've got to say I am quite impressed with them. I do think they are doing what they said they would do. They are creating these rather small plug plants as we expected. But they rapidly outgrow these small plants because they're so small. So that's not a problem. If you are gardening every day, you're pricking out seedlings or moving them on every day, I don't think that's too much of a problem just to basically keep on top of it. But overall, I have to admit, I am quite impressed. I'm more impressed than I thought I would be with these. And I've got to say, I think I will use these a bit more in the future. Well, I've just got a few more of these spinach seedlings just to continue pot up into the plug plant starters, plug plant trays. I've got to admit I'm quite impressed with these germies. I know quite a few people have been using them lately as they're quite interested in what we have. But overall, I'm quite impressed. I think it's definitely something we will probably use and use time and time again. And I think it's going to be one of those, the more we use, the more we're going to learn from it. My biggest concern is actually with the fact that they are so small. Again, I bring back up, that's the size of the plug plant they produce. Because they are so small, the roots do rapidly outgrow. This has been 2, maybe 3 weeks since sowing. So they have grown quite rapidly. But again, that's part of the joys of gardening. The joys of gardening indeed. There we go, this is the last one out of this lot. And that has filled up. I've got a bit of spare space, but that has mostly filled up this entire tray of our plug plant starters. So what I will now do, I'm going to tidy it up a bit, but I will get these into the greenhouse where they will hopefully continue to grow and produce good, better spinach plants in the future. Right guys, let me know what you think of these germies and what seeds you think you would grow in these yourself. And I will see you again next time.